Welcome to the Stay Ready Real Estate Podcast, your action plan for real estate success. Here, we stay ready. Staying ready is being mindful of time and actively doing the things on a daily basis so we stay prepared for the opportunities that come our way. Join your host, Emeka, as he dives into the world of real estate investing, interviewing experts and sharing actionable insights. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe today. We would love to know each and every one of you. So please go to ogbonnaequity.com and click Invest with us today so we can figure out how we can get to your investing goals. What's going on? It's your host, Emeka, and today we have another solo episode where it's just me talking all things real estate, multifamily, single family, and the things that I do. One of the topics I want to talk about today is squatters. So we've seen in California all the stuff about squatting. We've seen all over the world, part of New York as well, how these squatters have rights and you have to go through all these different processes in order to get them out. Well, here in Florida, and yours truly I have to deal with a squatter. It's unbelievable. In my opinion, and I'm very, very opinionated about this, squatters shouldn't have rights. It makes absolutely no sense. I don't think there is any situation where a squatter should have a right, especially if they don't own the home, they do not pay any money to take care of the home, and quite frankly, they're just being little mooches, and that's how I see that. And I'm not really sympathetic about it. So if you want sympathy for them, you might want to stop the podcast now because I'm gonna go on a tangent. So we have a squatter, and I check my property a lot, weekly, couple times a week. And I hit myself, I kicked myself in the foot because I should have seen it, I should have noticed it. So way back when we saw I'm gonna just say homeless Jane and homeless Joe and their kids. So I caught them one time, and they're not on our property, but right next to it. We're next to a church, and it was weird. It was weird, right? They started a fire, like a pit fire, and they were camping out. They had a trailer, they had a truck. And since they're not on our property, I technically can't do anything. But when I visit the property, obviously I'm walking around, and you know, they felt the need to explain themselves. Well, if you're not doing anything wrong, usually people don't feel a need to say what they're doing or explain why they're doing anything. But they're sleeping in the car, they're starting fires, and I get they're homeless. Being homeless is not anything to play around with. I don't know what their situation was. But the fact of the matter is, if you are starting a fire outside next to a building that people live in, that is a hazard. That is a hazard for their kids and the different kids that live in our apartments. So we can't have that. One, two, the kids were running the water of our units. And granted, the tenants pay water. However, no one should be paying more because of outside circumstances. So I live in a house, and we pay the water of the amounts that we use. So depending on how much we use, that's how much we pay. Well, if someone else is running the water outside our home that we don't know, that water that they're running, we're paying for. So it's an issue. So immediately got that taken care of, got the water taken care of. And this is months and months ago. It hasn't been an issue. Like I said, has not been an issue. However, our contractor comes and lets us know, hey, we might have, a homeless person staying in one of the units or the storage units that or a storage facility, room, facility, whatever you want to call it, that is locked. And it's usually not locked. So, you know me, I go immediately, I'm checking it out. First and foremost, they decorated. They decorated. There is Christmas lights outside of our storage unit, right? What is the need for that? One. So that was, that was my indicator that, first and foremost, someone is living there. So I finally get in and I see a TV, I see things laid out, and It's none of our stuff. And to make it worse, to make this whole situation worse, is the fact that we had things that we were storing in the storage unit. They took everything out. They took everything out, placed it outside, and put all their stuff in it. So for some reason, they felt that they had a right and they felt they had the need to take our stuff out, leave it outside. When it's Florida, it rains, we have lizards, snakes, all kinds of different things that could get to it, ruin it, eat it, etc. They felt the need and felt that they had the okay to take our stuff out and put it in outside next to it. Okay, contractor tells me we have a squatter. I go there. I figure out we do have things in it that's not ours. Our stuff got taken out. Talk to our property manager. Hey, we gotta fix this. Fix the situation, see what's going on. So he comes, finds out that they put their own lock on there. So they made their own lock, and where we couldn't originally get in, it's our property. So we busted through the lock, you know that, dead bolted it. And now we're just gonna see what happens. Because if someone is staying there, then they need to get back in, or they need to notify someone, or you know, they break in. I go there maybe a day later, they broke in. We can see I don't know, the hinge door thingy, whatever you want to call it. Basically, the deadbolt. They figured out a way to pull the door really hard and it damaged our door, and now we can't lock it. It's going to be fixed in a matter of a day. But the fact that not only did we lock it so other people who are not authorized to be in there cannot get in, we locked it and they thought that it was okay to mess up our door, damage our property to do this. And it's quite frankly unbelievable. So, me being who I am, I'm just kind of blunt and straightforward. I said, let's take everything out, trash it. Period. Some people may not agree with that. I get it. But however, you're damaging our property that you don't pay for, that our nice tenants pay for, and you felt the need to take our stuff out. And granted, a lot of the stuff in the storage unit, some of it was before we purchased the property, some of it, a couple gallons of paint. There was nothing too major in there, but they had no idea about that. So I proposed to the team, let's just dump everything. Let's trash it. And we need to figure out a specific day where we put it in a dumpster and then the waste management comes and takes it immediately or the day after or the day of. Because if they feel that it's okay to sleep in the storage unit, then I have no doubt in my mind that they would just go in a dumpster and do the exact same thing. However, our property manager, who's very smart, thought it'd be best to consult with an attorney because there's new squatter laws or something that put in place to July. Unbelievable. Squatters shouldn't have rights, period. So my property manager, he thought it was a good idea to talk to an attorney first. So he does that, we wait. And attorney says, okay, one, the storage unit is not a livable space. There's no closet, there's no window. So it is a hazard for them. It is not a livable space. So they don't have a right for that because they shouldn't be there. It's not for anyone to live in. So we have the okay to throw it away. Two, we need to bring a sheriff. So when we do this or confront the squatter, because we don't know when they'll be there, we don't know, where they're at, bring the sheriff in and open up the door and figure out what's going on there. So yesterday, actually, property manager goes with the sheriff and we open a door, boom, no one's in there. Sheriff states that we can throw it away, no questions asked. No one has a right to sue, press charges, etc., etc. So, now we're consulting. How should we handle this situation? Because allegedly, someone stated that they're living with one of the units. And of course, if that's the truth, then we have to talk with them as well. But we don't know what the truth is because it's just hearsay at this point. But our plan is to just throw it away or see if there's something valuable that we could either sell to the tenants or see if that's going to come, bring the squatter forward so we can confront them and let them know what they can and cannot do. And they cannot stay at our property without paying. They cannot stay in our storage unit because that is a hazard. However, obviously, we need to be a little bit nicer about it just because we don't want them to retaliate in a bad way. I don't know the situation. We don't know the situation. So we have to be somewhat sympathetic, but we do need to make sure that they know that this is not okay. So, with all that being said, I've never had to deal with a squatter until now, but this is real estate. This is real estate. You never know what we're going to get into. We want to automate as much things as possible to save time, to make things easy for the tenants, and to make our processes great. But this is things that we really just can't plan for. In our underwriting, we didn't plan to, get rid of a squatter. Who does that? We do everything to prevent any of the nonsense to happen. However, you just got to adapt, you just got to adjust. And at the end of the day, I may have spent maybe an hour on this talking with my team about it, going to the property about it, discussing discussing different options that we have when it comes to the stuff in the unit and talk like with the attorney. My property manager dealt more with the attorney, he dealt with the sheriffs. So the reason I bring this up is yes, it's annoying. Yes, I don't want to have to deal with squatters. However, it's not hard. Anyone can do it. Anyone could go to the property, look at it, assess it, come up with ideas, brainstorm. It's not like you have to be some guru or some, grad with a PhD to get things done, right? We just gotta talk with a team, having a team is amazing. And I do want to go into that as well. Your team is going to be so important when you're looking at a multifamily deal or looking at a single family deal or anything in regards to real estate. Because my first three deals, three single family homes, two burrs. So I bought it, excuse me, one burr, bought it, rented it out for a year or two, and then I did a flip. And then my third house I still have today, which was a rental. But however, I did all of that by myself. And granted, I would not, if I were to start all over again, I wouldn't change anything with the resources I had because even though I know it would have been a lot better to have someone to look up to, have someone to consult with when I'm making these decisions, the contractors to pick, the budgets I made. At that point in time in my life, I didn't have anyone. My family wasn't in real estate. I was basing everything off YouTube, books, chatting up with, different acquaintances that I felt that I could trust, but I didn't really have the relationship to go to them for everything. And I mentioned that because, again, I went from zero to nothing and I figured it out. If I can figure it out, you can figure it out. But if I did have a team, I can talk to, Shane and ask, hey, this build is in the 1970s. I can get a 2.99 interest rate, but I'm not really sure what to expect when it comes to CapEx, big ticket items like roof, HVACs, you know, drywall repair, etc. I didn't know all that. I basically walked around, looked at it, and be like, okay, maybe we gotta do this, maybe we gotta do that. If I spend this much on this entire project, it makes sense for that. It makes sense for this deal. But I didn't have anyone to go to. I didn't have anyone to go to and use this lesson, use this and understand that you do not have to do it alone. If you do not have anyone to work with, if you don't have a team that you can rely on, if you don't have someone that you can trust regards to guiding you or helping you tackle a deal, buying a property, fixing it up, knowing what to expect through the long run if you're doing a rental, knowing what to expect in the short run if you're doing a flip. If you have someone to kind of guide you, I recommend paying them if you can, because it's not easy. If you have someone to guide you, 100%. use them because going at it alone is possible. People do it. It's a whole lot easier to work with a team and work with people you trust. And you can go so much further and tackle more things when you do have a team. I hear people want to go solo all the time. They want to make as much money, don't have a boss, don't have to rely on other people. That's great. That's fine. If you can do that, do it. But I would bet you $1 million that it's going to take you a lot longer to get to the places you want to go if you do it alone. But if you have a team, work with it. This squatting situation, I'm gonna be honest. If I didn't have the team, most likely I would just throw all the stuff away, put it in the trash, um, watch the waste management come and dump it. And I may just wait to see if they're gonna come back or not. But thank goodness I have a team and we can talk about these things. We can consult these things. We understand that, things aren't as urgent as they seem, but we do need to get things done. However, squatters, they shouldn't have rights. It makes no sense. I have no idea why there are laws protecting them at all. I get, if there is a renter, who's been renting a property, who's been paying rent for a long time, and something like COVID or something comes along and they can't pay the rent and they need to figure out a way to either pay it or move and they just need time. I get that. I wouldn't call them squatters. I would call them they're in the in between, right? They're trying to figure out what they can do with the situation they have. And some landlords may kick them out. At the end of the day, landlords still have to pay. They still have to pay for the house and the upkeep of the house. Insurance, right? We're paying insurance. We're paying the bank, right? Utilities. Some landlords do pay utilities. Some don't have rely on a tenant. Some people just have the utility buyback, whatever it's called. However, that's money that's coming out of the landlord's pockets. I am just an average Mecca, right? I don't have the millions of dollars. I am a real estate investor, yes. But just because someone owns property, multifamily or single family or a condo or whatever it is, just because we own it, that does not mean that we can just pay for anything, right? That's a big misconception for some reason. Like if I go to Walmart and I damage, a whole aisle of stuff. And I do that thinking that, oops, they have millions of dollars, they can handle that. That's just the wrong mindset. And that's a lot of tenant mindsets. That's a lot of tenant mindsets because they think that, oh, just because I put a hole in the wall or I'm the reason that bugs are in here because I'm messy that the landlord can fix it because they have all the money. That's horrendous. That's stupid. That's stupid. And these are things that we do have to deal with. The owner mindset and the renter mindset are completely different. And as a landlord, we must understand that. We must understand that. So we have to do our deals accordingly. We have to do our upgrades accordingly, right? If we have a property, let's say a single family house in an area where the median income is 100,000, and we have maybe a doctor renting who's going to be here for 5 years until they move back to, Idaho or something, they're going to take better care of the property and they're going to expect a certain standard of care and from us when it comes to different situations or different maintenance requests, right? But they still shouldn't think that we should take care of everything and anything because we own the property, right? I gave an example of bugs, right? We're just cleaning out a unit in one of my other properties. It's infested with cockroaches, right? It's disgusting. It's disgusting. But as a landlord, we didn't put the cockroaches there, right? We didn't do any of that stuff. But our tenants were nasty, quite frankly. We got rid of them and they left food out, dishes out, cockroaches were in the couch, the crevices, the sink, under the cabinets. Now they gotta get the pest control. And the pest control costs money that we pay for and not our tenants. So yes, I'm on a tangent. I've talked about multiple different things, but this just goes to show that real estate isn't always sunshines and daisies. That's just not the case. There's real stuff that we as investors have to deal with, things that you should prepare for, and things that you should always remember in the back of your head, no matter how much you underwrite, no matter how much you prepare for. We can't predict anything. We can't predict everything, right? We don't know what we don't know, and the squatter might come back, right? But we just have to figure out how to adapt, and we have to figure out how to roll with the punches. So if I can give you three actionable steps that you can do today to roll with the punches, to better prepare. Number one, look into the squatter rules, right? It happens. Homeless people are everywhere in every state. Look into it in your state. You don't want to have this situation where we have a squatter and we have to go to sheriffs and talk to our attorneys and find out because we didn't do our research that we have to wait 6 months for them to either be there or get kicked out or prove that they didn't live there. You don't want to do any of that stuff. So, number one that you can do today is go to Google, type in squatter rules, Florida, squatter rules, Missouri, wherever you are. Number two, network, network, network. Like I said before, having a team is amazing. Having people that you can rely on is beautiful, right? Having someone that you can just have a second opinion if you're not 100% sure is great. There's not many things that you're going to be 100% sure about. So having just someone that you can bounce ideas off of is amazing. Number three, consult with an attorney. Email one. There's attorneys everywhere. Most of the time that you can get a first meeting or a first phone call for free. Let them know what you're going to do. Let them know, hey, I want to buy property. I want to hold it forever, or I'm going to do flips. What can I do to limit my liability if such and such happens? If someone stays in a property while I'm flipping and I didn't know, if someone slips and falls and steps on a nail while I'm flipping a property, whatever it is, consult with an attorney, let them know what you're going to do. And then out of that conversation, they're going to help you understand what is necessary to get, what is necessary to have when it comes to insurance, contracts, etc. And that will also give you another contact, another source to rely on, right? Attorneys may want money, some may want it, some may not if they're new. However, just do your research, work hard to find somebody. But until next time, I hope you enjoyed. It seems like y'all are starting to like the solo podcast a little bit more, so I'm going to do a little bit more. And I'll still continue to bring on new guests from around the country who are experienced, who can also share their stories and give more mindset advice and help you get your first property or 100th property. But thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Please like, subscribe, comment, reach out to me if you have any questions, if you enjoyed this podcast. Please just continue to support because I love it the most. And I'm here to help you all understand that you don't need to be some special person in order to get real estate. You just got to be an average Mecca like I am. Until next time.